Okay, musicians, now it's time for me to address the one movement that every gospel musician wants. You guys have heard it. 7 seconds. Check it out. All you do is go from G to the F sharp, E to the E flat while holding the C and the D at the bottom. There you go. There's the whole lesson. All right, thank you. And I think you want more than that. So today, let's stick around if you want to learn what the movement is, how to play it, and some theory points to consider so that you can understand what you're doing, of course. So how's everybody doing? I'm Sean Wilson. I lead a community of musicians who just want to know how things work, how to develop their ear, and learn movements from other musicians. So you can be a part of the community by hitting the subscribe button, and you can get notified when vids like this come out. So let's get started. The big idea with this movement is that it's a sus chord, and a sus chord is a 1, a 2, and a 5, or a 1, a 4, and a 5. And I have another video on sus chords, a really great video I did, showing you how to use unresolved sus chords. But this is going to show you how to use a resolved sus chord, and it's a movement that a lot of you have heard. And this the movement builds on the idea that a sus4 chord resolves to a triad. So in other words, if I'm doing a D, G, and A, which is a sus4 chord, that the G, which is the 4th note, moves down to the 3rd note. Okay? Gospel musicians, however, the way that this movement is used is with an advanced version of the sus chord called a 9 sus4. So if you're doing this in D, it would be a D9 sus4. Okay, and to get the 9 sus4, your D is your 1. You do the 4th note. You do your 7th note, but make it flat, and you do your 9th note. And all you do to get the movement is you take the 4th down a half step, and you take the 9th down a half step. So it sounds like this. See how that sounds? So the idea, and I want to do 2 different versions of this, because one of these resolves to a flat 9, and the other way to do it resolves to just a regular dominant chord, or even a major chord. So the one that resolves to a flat 9 means that the 3rd goes down a half step, the 9th goes down a half step. There's a song, Jason, I'm not going to play the video this time because I'm tired of my videos getting demonetized. So I'm going to do myself, but there's a In the Room. Yeah, the In Control. Now watch this. Right? So did you guys hear that? I said, he hits the D. There's a movement. Here it's over that D bass. And just like I showed at the beginning of the video, it's really only 2 notes that move, but you got to know when to use it. You would use it because the sus chord is used right before a dominant chord, right? So we have this dominant chord here. So right before the dominant chord, it's used to lead you to a dominant chord. Let's go to another part of the song. All right, so let's try this with Jason Nelson's song In the Room on the vamp part. So where would I put the sus chord? Watch this. There it is again. I'm gonna put it in a different place. See, so there's a lot of different ways I can put it, and you guys have heard that movement, but now you know where it is. Now, the trick to getting it is to being able to hear the bass note. You got to be able to hear where the bass note goes. Because remember I said it was a 1, 4, flat 7, and 9. And that the 4 and the 9 move down a half step. So I have to be able to hear where that bass note will go. And a trick would be for the dominant. You go wherever you would play a dominant chord, right? Because the sus leads to a dominant, that you can put it there. Now, this is the reason why I focus on dominance so much. Check out my dominance course on my website if you're a member, because this is going to show you where to use dominance so that you can know where to hear this stuff. Because when I was going, whatever you need, right? Whatever you need, right? Right before this D, I hit a A. So it's acting as a dominant chord, which means I can use the special movement. So, okay, this one leads to a G. This one leads to an E flat. Okay, so it's just kind of knowing the bass note that they go along with, using that formula will help you to know when to use it. Then just use the formula, take those down a half steps, and you got it. Now, let me give you 2 examples of how this resolves to a major. See, so what you need to understand is when I'm doing this, it resolves to a flat 9. There's a lot of tension in that. See, the flat 9 has a lot of tension. But sometimes you don't want to go to this much tension. So let me show you an example. Let's use I Love the Lord, and let's take it in, let's take it in D, and let's take it in C sharp. And then let's go. Oh, see that? Now remember, this is the same thing I'm using. Here's the B flat's the 1. Here's this E flat's the 4. This is the flat 7. And this is the 9, which I told you to move this one and this one down a half step. But I didn't. Instead, I moved it down to the B, which creates a regular dominant chord. So in this one, it's 2 different ones, and even though it's only a small difference, it's a really big difference in the sound. The 4th note still moves down only a half step, but the 9th note moves down a whole step. So instead of going, it's this. Brandon Jones also uses this. I want you to listen to how he uses this one as well. He does not use the tension of the flat 9, but instead he just resolves it to a major. See, let me go back. Come on, man. There it is, there it is. See that? So it's not half steps. But it's still, remember, a sus chord leads to a dominant chord. So this chord, here it is, it's the sus chord leading to a dominant chord and back to its E. Okay? So that was an amazing example. So in order to find a placement on when to use these, you have to know when to use a dominant chord, which means you're going to have to get that bass note right, follow the formula, take them down. You need to figure out whether you like the tension of the flat 9. Let me know, do you like the tension of the flat 9? Or do you like how it resolves to the dominant chord better? I like to use a chart to help me find what to use. So for instance, like if I'm on a B here, you can see the charts shows me what the B9 sus4 is, right? Right, so if you're on a D here, you can, if the bass note is a D, you can easily see what notes to use. So if you remember, you can get this chart. It's going to be on the site for you, and you can see the fuller training on this. You can also see me play some hymns. I'm going to play a couple hymns for you, show you guys some more examples of when you can use it. So that's going to be great. So this was a video on how to use that dope, surprisingly simple, but it can be complicated because of the placement, you know, where to use it. So go ahead and study the video, rewind it again so you can see those examples, and go ahead and check out that link in the description to see me playing hymns using these type of suspended chords. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you guys later.